And we're back for the second preliminary final of the Australian Men's Roller Derby National Championships. We currently have Manawatu Roller Derby. We have Astro Boy jamming for Manawatu.
Hi, it's only me, Peachy Keen. I thought I was doing live comms. I'm so sorry. Here I am. Welcome.
Okay, so Astro Boyd is jamming for Capital Carnage.
Like right into it.
And Johnny Death is for Manawatu Roller Derby.
Astro Boyd lead jammer going straight through the inside and calling it off there. 4 points for Capital Carnage to Manawatu's 0.
So we've got D-Rod out there on the Extreme Skates jammer line for Manawatu, and Thugganaut is jamming for Capital Carnage.
We've got MK2 in the bin for Manawatu. That is Zephyr. So Capital Carnage have the pack advantage. Thugganaut trying to go for a line on the outside, as does 5050 D-Rod, but it's Thugganaut through lead jammer. He looks pretty happy about that. D-Rod still to make his initial pass, coming up behind quite a hard wall. Terminator trying to get him on the outside, and Tomahawk putting him on his behind. Oh, and D-Rod has been sent for a track cut penalty, which means that Thugganaut is on a power jam, first jam for the game. Getting it past Barber drawing him back to the back there.
Zephyr back on the track now for Manawatu as well, so they have a full complement of blockers.
Carnage blockers hanging at the back there to just give Thugs a little bit of room. D-Rod standing in the Spank Alley penalty box as Thug calls it off. Now we've got Skate Slinger on the Extreme Skates jammer line. I almost forgot what it was called. Unopposed, as D-Rod is still in the bin for Manawatu.
4-on-4 blockers in front of the line.
Skate Slinger being drawn to the back there. Oh, and a great on hit there from Astro Boyd. Trying to stop the runner at the back. D-Rod now back on the track. Skate Slinger being awarded lead jammer for Capital Carnage.
D-Rod being held up there by Astro Boy, doing some good work. And Skate Slinger makes it through for a 5-point pass.
And D-Rod being drawn back there by Astro Boyd. Unfortunately, he was sent to the Spank Alley penalty box for a out-of-play block, I think. Skate Slinger calling off the jam there.
Patting his buttocks.
And a great start for Capital Carnage from Varsity Derby League in Canberra so far. 24 points to Manawatu's 0. So far in the game, it's 15-minute halves, and we are almost 10 minutes to go for the first half.
So Marqueries up on the jammer line for Manawatu, and we have Skate Terminator for Capital. Jams on. Slow
Skate Terminator
start.
trying to get an outside line pass, but being blocked out by number 6 from Manawatu, Hulena.
Okay, Marqueries is out for lead jammer for Manawatu. The crowd like it.
Jamie Slamister trying to hit out Makuri. He's gone to the penalty box, not quite sure. Oh, it was a back block penalty, so he'll be spending some time in the Spank Alley penalty box. And Skate Slinger will be, Terminator, my apologies, will be on a power jam.
Coming up for his scoring pass.
Astro Boyd going in for the assist. Oh, and it's a back block penalty on Terminator as well, releasing Makuri from the Spank Alley penalty box. Hardwell there from Capital Carnage. And Makuri really trying to drive from the middle there. Thuggernaut doing some great bracing there. We'll make sure that they yield, not getting any multiplayer blocks. A 5-point pass there for Makuri. First points on the board for Manawatu. Terminator back on the track for Capital Carnage. And Makuri wanting to get some more points on the board for Manawatu. Hulina really doing a great job of blocking Terminator on the outside line there, the crowing.
Well, and it looks like one of the Manawatu blockers has been sent for a multiplayer block.
And Terminator was just about to do a penny pass to Astro Boyd. That was the end of the jam. So the scores in that last jam: Manawatu on 8 points, Capital Carnage 28. Manawatu is the correct pronunciation there. I'm still getting the hang of it, but hopefully by the end of the tournament I'll get it.
I think Moni was calling it Manawatui all morning.
Oh, okay.
Fond nickname. Astro Boyd out for lead jammer for Capital Carnage.
And I can't quite see the jammer for Manawatu.
The Mofia.
Oh, Mofia. Astro Boyd out for a 5-point pass for Capital Carnage.
And Mofia is through for his initial 2 capital blockers in the bin.
And hit to the outside there from 0. Astro Boyd calls off the jam. 3 points to Manawatu's 0 for that jam, bringing the scores up to 36. Capital Carnage, Manawatu 8. And we have Zephyr on the Extreme Skates jammer line for Manawatu. Jam Pants bench coach for Capital Carnage calling a timeout. So far in the heats we haven't had. We have not awarded timeouts to the teams just because we've needed to get things running along. But in these preliminary finals, we'll be awarding teams timeouts because of the extreme heat here in Ipswich. In the shed, it's pretty sweltery, and we're just sitting here doing nothing. So I can't imagine what the skaters are feeling right now. It has been a tough day of competition, I have to say.
Especially playing so many games in one day.
That's right. Capital Carnage have had a little bit of a break. I think Manawatu also had a break. It was Tweed that played back-to-back games, and that must have been very hard, taking quite a beating from the Brawlers, which are from... Where are they from? Do you know?
Bass Strait.
Bass Strait Brawlers, that's right. I'm actually wearing my Brawlers t-shirt, but it's my Capital Brawlers shirt from home, Canberra Derby League. I thought I'd wear that in support. And what a game from the Brawlers. They'll be playing in the finals tomorrow. Not sure who against, though, but it was quite a point differential in that last game. So as before, Skate Slinger on the Extreme Skates jammer line, along with Zephyr for Manawatu.
And there's a 4-on-2 blocker advantage to Manawatu, with 2 Capital Carnage blockers sitting in the penalty box.
Tomahawk taking a bit of a leap at Zephyr, who wasn't able to get through. Skate Slinger got through, but he is not lead. Zephyr was lead, so he called it off so that Skate Slinger couldn't get any points. That was a 0-0 jam, that last jam.
So lining up for the next jam, we've got Skate Slinger up against Johnny Death for Manawatu. The 2 Capital Carnage blockers are now standing in the bin. ready to come and join their teamies and try to shut Johnny Death down.
And Johnny Death being taken to the outside there by Astro Boyd. And unfortunately, that was the line that Skateslinger wanted to take. He's having to take his chances on the outside line there. But he's made it through. Lead jammer for Capital Carnage. I am just loving the green and pink on the track right now. Makes me very happy. It's a nice change from the black and the red and the blue. Making it fashion here in Ipswich. That's our motto. Skateslinger out for a 5-point pass, lapping Johnny Death in the pack. Johnny Death wanting to do a bit of jammer on jammer action. Skateslinger's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this. Skateslinger hoping to run out the clock a little bit. Maybe he could get a couple of points. Yes, he did. 2 points for Carnage, no points for Manawatu.
So Capital Carnage will start the next jam with Astro Boyd, the pivot, sitting in the Spank Alley penalty box. And we're going to have Thugganaut jamming for Capital up against Zephyr for Manawatu.
Oh, and Zephyr doing a big hit on Thugganaut before making his way through as lead jammer for Manawatu. Thugganaut still to make it past. Oh, blocking past the last blocker and just making it out safe. Terminator not quite able to keep Zephyr at bay. He gets it through for another 5-point pass. And it was a back block penalty on Thugganaut for Capital Carnage. He'll be spending some time in the Spank Alley penalty box. So Zephyr on a power jam for Manawatu. Astro Boyd going to the Spank Alley penalty box just as Thugganaut is standing. Another 5-point pass there for Manawatu, bringing their scores up 26 to Capital Carnage's 42. That's quite a really working hard to close that gap. Thugganaut coming out of the Spank Alley penalty box to collect his previous 4 points.
Okay, Zephyr calls off the jam there for... How many points does he put on the board?
And that brings us up to 31 points for Manawatu against Capital Carnage's 46. Skateslinger on the Extreme Skates jammer line for Capital Carnage. And D-Rod for Manawatu. Oh, and by a hair, it's Skateslinger. Lead jammer for Capital Carnage.
Capital's Astro Boyd just rejoining the track.
Skateslinger thinking it was just a little bit too close, calling it off before there were any points scored by either team. And Astro Boyd on the Extreme Skates line. What's that line that the jammers use? Jammer line. And Makuri for Manawatu. It's been a very long, hot day. I've been up since 5 a.m., which is scary bright when you're in Brisbane. So I'm kind of a bit delirious, but it's, who's lead jammer? It's Makuri for Manawatu, drawing out Astro Boyd. If Astro Boyd re-entered and Makuri was upright, that would have been a track cut, but because Makuri was on a knee, then it was fine, but it did force Makuri to call off the jam there. 0 points, still at 31 for Manawatu to Capital Carnage's 46.
chipping away at that gap there. So we've got Helena up against Astro Boyd.
Helena having an easy pass through his own blockers, but it's Astro Boyd, lead jammer for Capital Carnage. Some really great blocking here from Jamie Slamister and Skate Slinger at the back of the pack here for Capital Carnage. Meanwhile, Astro Boyd spinning and twirling and trying to get some points for... Oh, thought that the blockers were out of play, stepped back onto the track and unfortunately got a track cut penalty.
So Helena just exits the pack for about to make his first scoring pass. Oh. Didn't see who put that big hit on him then, but it was a big one. And we have a 5-point pass for Manawatu. Astro Boyd rejoining the track.
And getting that 5-point pass from earlier that he was not able to get due to the track cut. Oh, and a forearms penalty for Helena for Manawatu, which means Astro Boyd is unopposed for the rest of this jam. Oh, big hit there from Zero from Manawatu. Astro Boyd not taking any chances. He wants to stay on the track. Astro Boyd playing it really safe, trying to stay center of the track here. And making it through a 5-point pass there for Capital Carnage.
And Helena just released from the bin as that jam was finished. 5 points on the board.
And that is halftime. So even though we have 15-minute halves, there's 7 minutes on the board for halftime. Not quite sure about that.
I think it's supposed to be 5.
Oh, okay, 5 minutes
I'm sure
for
somebody
halftime.
will come and adjust that.
So the score at halftime is 56 to Capital Carnage to 36
Manawatu Roller Derby.
And just wanting to take an opportunity to thank our major sponsors, Extreme Skates, for all of their support for the Australian Men's Roller Derby National Tournament. First national tournament in Australia ever. And they have the naming rights for the Extreme Skates Jammer line. Extreme Skates, making skaters go to the extreme. For all your roller derby needs, contact Franca and the team, extremeskates.com.au or on Facebook. Also, thank you to Spank Alley. Are your panties in a state of disarray? Keep finding them on the floor near your ankles instead of on your head? Contact Peter for custom styles and stripes, spankalley.com.au or through Facebook. Go get spanked at the Spank Alley penalty box. I don't know if they still do that anymore. So Spank Alley has a bit of a history from my understanding of what the Spank Alley is back in the day, because I'm a dinosaur. When they used to play track, I didn't used to play bank track, but when they used to play bank track, which they still do in Texas, Spank Alley was, instead of sitting in the sin bin for a penalty, they used to spin the wheel and you would get a penalty, and one of them was Spank Alley. So because there was audiences along the outside of the bank track, they would hold out little paddles and they'd give you a spank
as you skated on past.
Yeah. So if that didn't make you learn your lesson, I don't know what will.
There you go.
But I think it's a nice little homage to, to the old school derby.
Yep.
Giving us all that we have here today, the evolution of flat track roller derby. It's pretty amazing being a skater of, the old school flat track derby and what it is now, and then how it's kind of morphed to let in men's derby and everything that they give us and we give them. And it's just, after a lot of skaters here have been and are referees, NSOs, officials, commentators and such, that we can give back to them and give them an amazing tournament weekend. So it's just really nice how that kind of comes about.
Yeah, much more inclusive.
Especially with leagues such as BCR, Light City Derby, our own Capital Carnage down at home are part of Varsity Derby League, who are also co-ed, that they can kind of have that give and take, which is really amazing.
I think it's a good experience being able to train with the co-ed league.
For sure. got some stats here.
Ooh.
We have got Astro Boyd, SONS, has got 4 penalties. So he will be fouling out. Is that official now?
No, it's on 7. They need to get 7.
Oh, they need to get 7 now. Okay. So in the preliminaries, you can have 7 penalties before you foul out, whereas beforehand, because they were the lightning rounds, they were shorter games. There were only 4 penalties before people fouled out, which kind of changed the games a little bit. People were kind of fouling out a little bit more, but hopefully that it gives a little bit more allowances.
Were meant to be longer, but because of the heat.
Yeah, so prelims were meant to be longer, but we've made them a little bit shorter because of the heat. Also, I believe that there are some officials and referees going to another game tonight. Yes, so we want to keep their energy up as well. Okay, so there's a couple more minutes before half time is finished. I'm just going to take a little breather and get back to you soon.
And just as we come back for the second half of this bout, I'll just give you an update on penalties. Currently, Capital Carnage have got one Astro Boyd, who currently has 4 penalties. And the highest penalty skater for MRD is skater 112. And I've lost my list. Who is Barber? So the aforementioned Astro Boyd is out for lead jammer for Capital. While D-Rod is still fighting for his initial pass, and he's out as well. Astro Boyd calls off the jam with another 4 points on the board. Okay, so we have Helena up on the track for Manawatu Roller Derby, up against Thugonaut for Capital Carnage. 4-on-3 blocker advantage to Capital Carnage. Okay, and jam is on. Helena out for lead jammer for Manawatu, with Thugonaut very close behind him. Manawatu blockers doing their best to speed up that pack. And Helena calls off the jam.
Oh, Thugonaut was just a bit... Oh, when is this jam going to end so fast?
These guys have got to be feeling the heat. So managed to score 1 point from that last jam for Manawatu, for Helena.
Capital Carnage have a relatively tidy lead, 60 points to Manawatu's 38, but actually that's just over 20 points, so they're going to have to watch that, particularly in this second half where it's getting hot. People are getting tired. Back into it, we've got Skate Slinger, lead jammer for Capital Carnage, and Barber for Manawatu not far behind. He's going to have to make a bit of a hit and quit it. 2 points there for Capital Carnage to Manawatu's 0.
Bit of a fist pump between the jammers. Johnny Death wearing the star for Manawatu and Tomahawk for Capital Carnage. Capital starting with one blocker in the bin.
Oh, right. So Tomahawk having a bit of a hard time at the back there. Zero trying to force a cut on him, but he is playing it safe. Looking fabulous in his Bob and Weaver capris, made by Bob and Weaver. Should check her out. Does great derby gear. But at the moment we've got, it is D-Rod. D-Rod? Lead jammer for Manawatu. Tomahawk still trying to make it out on his initial pass. The Mafia trying to draw back Tomahawk, but they were deemed out of play, so both jammers are out of the pack. 5 points going to Manawatu. And Johnny Death calls it off.
No more points in that last jam.
But it does take up Manawatu up to 43 to Capital Carnage's 62.
So Zephyr taking the Extreme Skates jammer line for Manawatu up against Astro Boyd for Capital Carnage. Yes.
That's right. Some of the cutest pigtails in Australian men's roller derby by
They are
far.
a bit cute.
Taking a great inside line there, really strong on the inside there, just pushing through, staying in bounds, getting up for lead jammer. Zephyr not too far behind for Manawatu. And Skate Slinger as pivot for Capital Carnage going to the Spank Alley penalty box, which means both teams have one apiece in the box. I didn't see that. Astro Boyd taking a bit of a hit there.
Crowd shouting their feelings on that last incident.
Jammer for Capital Carnage wanting to do a bit of clarification, make sure Astro Boyd got those points on the outside. Looks like an official timeout from the referees. It may be an official review, so we've got alternates from both teams having a bit of a discussion about the last jam.
So quick score update while we're sorting out some issues. We have Capital Carnage on 64 points to Manawatu's 43. Looks like we have all of the refs over there liaising with some of the skaters.
So the commentators just said that the current temperature at the Manawatu Derby League hometown is 14 degrees at the moment. I don't know if that would have helped with morale, to be honest, seeing as it's like triple that here.
It's just a little bit cooler than we're currently experiencing.
Just a little bit. So I don't have my phone on me, so you can't tweet at me, but if you want to send me any feedback, you can send it to hashtag #TalkToAMRD or hashtag capital letters AMRD, small letters Nationals. So AMRD Nationals or #TalkToAMRD, and you can see all of the tweets. I'll give some shout outs if you like. Send me any feedback and any little bits and pieces. And I'd love to chat to you if that's what you want to do. I should try and get some clarification on what this official timeout was regarding. But because they're talking to both captains and alternates, it could be a discussion of rules. Okay, so there was an official review of an apparent back block by Astro Boyd jamming for Capital Carnage in that last jam, and the call was overturned by the referees. So the call, or shall I say no call, stands, and we'll be getting back on with the game.
So that means we have Astro Boyd out there on the Extreme Skates jammer line for Capital Carnage, and we have got Mercury jamming for Manawatu.
Oh, and Barber drawing back Astro Boyd there to the back of the pack there. Mercury lead jammer for Manawatu. Some great recycling happening here from Manawatu on Astro Boyd. Oh, and he's just had some really great footwork, transitioning to spin around and get out of the pack there. Oh, and McCurry being sent for a back block on Tomahawk, making him have a bit of a fall there. Astro Boyd spinning and weaving and twirling out of the pack. Beautiful display. 5-point pass there for Capital Carnage. And another 5-point pass there for Astro Boyd. 0 going to the Spank Alley penalty box there. Not sure what that call was for a blocker. Skate Slinger taking the jammer panty for Capital Carnage.
Okay, Mark Reese back on the track after he's had a think about his behaviour. Getting down low to avoid some hits there and picks up 4 points.
Tomahawk being sent for a out-of-play block there. McCurry back on the track for Manawatu. Taking a bit of a hit was Astro Boyd there, who passed the star to Skate Slinger, who's on another scoring pass there. 4 points each.
And that's the end of the 2 minutes.
And the scores are creeping up. Manawatu 51 points to Capital Carnage 83. Capital Carnage, of course, from Canberra, my hometown. Holla to anyone listening on the internets from Canberra, either through Canberra Roller Derby League or Varsity Derby League. Hello, hello. It's a real honour to be calling for Capital Carnage here, and lots of supporters from Capital Carnage here. And your lead jammer is indeed Thugganaut from Capital Carnage, lead jammer, with Manawatu's jammer D-Rod not too far behind. Thugs wanting to get some points called off quickly. He's hit to the outside, not wanting to give any away, and a 0-0 jam there.
So Manawatu will start this next jam with a blocker advantage. 2 Capital Carnage blockers sitting in the Spank Alley penalty box. Okay, looks like we have an official timeout.
Looks like there's another official timeout. No reviews as yet, but head ref Shaq talking to the captains from both teams. I was going to inform you, but I'm just sitting here eating watermelon because it's really hot.
It's so hot, I feel like laying on the concrete. I just want to have a nap.
Yeah, I wonder if any of the skaters have taken a bit of a fall and just kind of had a little sprawl there for a couple of seconds.
Just take a bit longer to get up than usual.
That's right. With any of the skaters who are skating with low numbers would we really be feeling it now.
Absolutely.
With this heat.
So they'd be welcoming all of the official timeouts they'd like to perform.
That's right. In the heats, earlier games, there were no timeouts for teams. But now, because of the heat, we are allowing that so that people don't completely tire out. So that was a specific timeout to cool down. I'm not sure if that was instructed by the referees or from the players. But it's nice for both teams to have a bit of a breather and be able to continue on. It is when in the second half when the players start to get a bit tired, they might get a little bit scrappy or pull out some dangerous play. But all in all, it's been relatively good, clean play this afternoon, even considering the outrageous heat.
So we can see Perth Men's Roller Derby and Light Cities League also warming up over there in the corner, ready for their preliminary final coming up straight after this.
Yep, so at this stage we are going for placings. I think this is the game to determine fourth. I'm not quite sure, I'll have to confirm that. The scores in this game are really going to matter as Varsity's Capital Carnage only had a point differential of +2. So they're going to want to get a tidy lead for this game if they want to make it to the next level. And it's Helena for Manawatu through as lead jammer. Astro Boyd still to make his initial pass. We've got Barber and Zero at the back there, really holding back and drawing Astro Boyd to the back by forcing him out on the inside line. And the pack has kind of disappeared. It's just Bobby Mack for Varsity, Varsity's Capital Carnage, and Zero for Manawatu. Bobby Mack screaming to the front there, trying to avoid giving away his point. He is the only other blocker. Well, now there are quite a few, so he can't get too far ahead. Oh, he's taken a bit of a slip, which means he gave away his point to Helena, who's picked up the full 4 points. That was quite a pass for Helena. It meant that Bobby Mack's point was worth 4 points, as there were a lot of other blockers in the bin at that time. Which is hard. Nobody wants to be the only defending blocker on the track. It's a hard job. And an official review being called by Skate Slinger for Capital Carnage on that. Looked like Skate Slinger wanted to call the official review and then cancelled it, so I'm not sure if he really means it. Maybe he just wanted another break, who knows?
Oh, here comes the paperwork, so it is an official review.
Well, in the meantime, shout out to our major sponsors, Extreme Skates. Naming rights to the Extreme Skates Jammer line, major sponsor for the Australian Men's Roller Derby inaugural tournament 2014, Ipswich, and hosted by Brisbane City Roller Derby, home of the Scartel and the Punk Blockers. Such a great venue here. I mean, regardless of the heat, they've put on a really good show here today, really friendly, helpful, and I happen to be staying with one of the Scartels, so I should probably say some nice things about them. Thanks for giving me somewhere to sleep. That's really nice. Okay, so the official review is being called on the penalty given to Skiterminator 1997 for the destruction of pack in that last jam. So they're just reviewing that now with the referees, so we'll bring you updated on that. Also, thank you to our other major sponsor for the AMRD Nationals, that is Spank Alley. You can see all of their array of stuff. They've got a great booth here at the at AMRD Nationals, or you can check them out through www.spankalley.com.au or through Facebook. And it's just been informed that the call on Skiterminator 1997 from Capital Carnage will stand. So he is standing in the Spank Alley penalty box, as is Bobby Mack from Capital Carnage, who is sitting. And 2 blockers, 0, and can't quite see the other skater from Manawatu in the Spank Alley penalty box. Skate Slinger jamming for Capital Carnage, but it is the Manawatu jammer. Looks like D-Rod, lead jammer,
Johnny
jammer.
Death.
Johnny Death.
Bit of a battle going on between them.
Oh, and Skate Slinger hitting out Johnny Death, sucking him back in, wanting the pack to kind of eat him up. Call that eating the baby.
You can see Copter very excited in the audience. He likes.
I do believe the term was yas. Lots of A's, lots of S's.
Yes.
Hashtag yas for those playing at home. On the Extreme Skates jammer line, we've got Astro Boyd for Capital Carnage and Zephyr for Manawatu. Just a quick score update. I realise I haven't been doing it nearly as much as I should. We've got Manawatu on 60 points, Capital Carnage on 91.
With about 3.5 minutes left in this bout.
That's right. The scores are kind of catching up, but Capital Carnage are doing a great job in just keeping that lead tidy. Oh, and Zephyr being sent to the Spank Alley penalty box for a track cut. Darthy Vader also to the Spank Alley penalty box for, not quite sure what for, but as a blocker. Astro Boyd taking the inside line there with a 5-point pass. Oh, great blocking there from Barber. Manawatu really keeping Astro Boyd at bay.
And
also hit out on the other side, on the outside from Helena, forcing Astro Boyd to call it off, as Zephyr is still standing in the Spank Alley penalty box.
So Skate Slinger will start this next jam as a power jam.
3 blockers apiece for both teams. Yep. So blocker advantage is pretty much the same. Skate Slinger going through unopposed, staying safe, skating middle, getting through, lead jammer with Zephyr back on the track, jamming for Manawatu.
Okay.
Skate Slinger out for a Yeah, 5-point pass there, but not wanting to call it off. Skateslinger coming through for another scoring pass, but both teams have now scored 4 points apiece. I'm not sure if he will either run out the clock or go in for another scoring pass. Capital Carnage taking the front line there. They've got 4 blockers, but he just split right through the middle. God. And looks like Jamie Slamister has taken a hit to the head there. Jamie Slamister taking a bit of a fall there, asking the referee if there was anything he could do. Hit to the head there. And seeing if the referees will kind of call anything. Nothing yet has been called, but there may be a review on that. He was on the ground for quite a few seconds, but did manage to get up. I'm not sure if that constitutes him needing to sit out for 3 jams. The jam did not get called, so he may still be able to play. We shall find out.
I think our head ref for the tournament was actually signalling to one of the refs to call it off because of him falling and holding his head, just to make sure that he's okay. So Boss in Boots called the jam.
Possibly, but that being said, I think this is the last jam of the game. Carnage are on sending out Astro Boyd. Oh no, he was through first, but he got sent for a track cut. So it looks like Johnny Death is the lead jammer,
And
wanting to get a few more points on the board. Thuggernaut being sent to the Spank Alley penalty box there. So only Skiterminator and Darth Evader on the track for Capital Carnage. All 4 blockers for Manawatu. Oh, the crowing being sent to the Spank Alley penalty box there. A 5-point pass there for Manawatu. Really happy to get some points on the board. And it looks like Darth Vader, the only blocker on the track for Capital Carnage. Skiterminator taking his time getting to the bin, but Thuggernaut is back on the track, as is Astro Boyd for Capital Carnage. Five points there for Johnny Death. Astro Boyd possibly wanting to get in front, but I think he's a bit too tired to fight it at this point in the last jam of the game. They're just kind of playing around with each other, really. And Johnny Death calls it. That is the unofficial final. We have Manawatu, 87 points. Capital Carnage, 112. Just going to check with the referees for the final score on that, and we will check in to see if that is indeed the game, but been a really great game played so far. So not sure if they're going to official the scores up there, but it looks like that is the final score. Capital Carnage 112 points to Manawatu's 87 points. Thank you everyone for tuning in and having a listen to and a watch of the stream for the inaugural 2014 Australian Men's Roller Derby Nationals. It has been quite an amazing day so far. I think there may be one game to go. Light City Derby Sabres versus Perth Men's Roller Derby Rampage, paying for placings. And the game officially going to Carnage, but they're already out of here. They want to go take off their skates, have a break. We're going to be going straight into the Light City Derby v Perth game. I'm signing off. My name is Peachy Keen. Have a good night.